Welcome back, artists. Now that we have finished our drawing, we've outlined it with Sharpie. We've made at least 3 lines thick. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 lines that I've made thick, so you can do more. And I've erased all my pencil lines. It is time to paint. If you look at this example, you can see that there are only 3 colors that were used, the primary colors, and we're going to stick with that theme. And we are going to be using watercolor. So we're going to use liquid watercolor, blue, red, and yellow. And you are asked to use all 3 of those colors, figure out where you would like them to go. But you also want to think about where you arrange it. So we don't want, for example, all the yellow over here and nothing over here. Do you notice how there's yellow in this part of the face, but then there's also yellow in the background? There's a little yellow bit over here, and there's even yellow on the neck. You want to think about where you put your color so that it looks like it's evenly distributed in the picture. When you use watercolor, you are not going to be adding water unless you want to lighten the color. If you look at this blue here, you can see how it's dark at the top and it's light at the bottom. As I painted this, I added more water to make the blue lighter. And you can just decide where you would like things to go. I want this frame of this circle to be yellow. So I just dip my brush in the paint and I'm painting directly on the paper. I didn't add any water. Once I have to push harder to get the color to come out of the brush, that tells me that I need to add more paint. And also notice the metal part is not touching the paper. That is not how brushes are designed. Just the bristles of the brush should be touching the paper. Also notice where I'm holding it. I'm holding it on the metal part. The closer I hold to the tip of the brush, the more control I have when I paint. If I'm painting from way over here, any small little movement by my fingers makes a big difference with what is painted. I'm also going to add some yellow to the trim down here. And then I'll put it on this side as well. And I think I might even do a yellow collar. And then I'm going to add some yellow to the face to brighten it up. Now I also want you to note that up to this point, I have been coloring in spaces, right? I filled in the space between the lines. Sometimes there's going to be things that don't go all the way down. One of the things that you often see in Roy Lichtenstein's artwork is some paint that doesn't necessarily go all the way to the edge. So I wanted to do a yellow space here on the face to add some color. And I'm carefully going around the edge. I'm going to maybe leave a little bit of white over here. So notice how I'm carefully making the edge of the shape. And then I'm going to, I don't want my eye to be yellow, so I'm going to paint around the eye very carefully. And now that I have the outlines done, I can paint quicker in the middle. So I'm going to fill in this whole space with yellow. And notice how I haven't done anything with my water yet. I'm painting a few spots with yellow all over my picture. So that it looks like there's yellow throughout. Now I am ready to change colors. So yellow is the lightest color. I really want to make sure these colors don't mix. So I'm going to spend some time cleaning out my brush, tapping it on the bottom of the water container. And then I also want to make sure that my brush is clean. So I'm going to dry my brush on paper towel. I just see a wet paper towel. There's no yellow there. So now I'm ready to add some red. And I think with the red, I am going to paint the shirt red, or a section of the shirt red. So I did a bunch of yellow over here. I think I'm going to maybe do the red, not fill the whole shirt red, but I'll paint it over on this side with red. And careful on my edges. And maybe I'll go a little bit past half, and then I'll stop here. When I paint, I want to leave some areas white, so I don't need to color the entire shape. That's one of the fun things about his style of art. He sort of just put things in different areas. He didn't fill it all completely. Now, it's important that we go all the way to the edge. And when I do that, oops, sometimes some paint gets on the table. That's okay. We just don't want to on purpose paint the table. I think I'm going to maybe add a little highlight of red here where the neck is to kind of show where a shadow would be. And maybe I'll fill this in a little bit more this way, curve it out. Maybe even a little bit more, add some more red. Oh, maybe I will make my lip red. Help that stand out a little bit. Oh, maybe I can do some red over here on the ground. And maybe I'll paint this whole area red. It's kind of small. And I think I need some red up here because I have red down here, but the top half has no red yet. So maybe I will put a shape of red up here. Once I finish with my red, then I'm going to move on to my blue. Remember, you want to use some of all of the colors, space it out evenly, and leave some areas white.